I'm Andy Tewari. I am an anesthesiologist, and I have two children at Oakwood, one in the 9th grade and one in the 6th grade. We have been an Oakwood family for about 10 years. Initially, when we moved to Greenville, we moved from Pittsburgh, and during that move process, we carefully evaluated the schools in the area. We spent quite a bit of time, my wife and I visited the schools, and we went about the process in a fairly deliberate way to look at which schools would be appropriate and to make a final decision. And as we went through that process, that careful process, it became increasingly obvious that Oakwood was the best choice for us. As we interviewed or talked to students and teachers, it became obvious that the students were comfortable. They wanted to go to school here. They wanted to participate in their homework and in the educational process. They were enthusiastic about going to school, and that was a very impressive facet of our selection process. The other thing that we noticed was not only the students but the teachers were motivated to establish a nurturing environment for education, and this was important to us, particularly since we were entering at the lower school level. We wanted the kids to be in an environment where learning was easy. There was a non-threatening atmosphere, a safe and motivated teaching environment, and that's exactly what Oakwood provided for us. That process gradually transitions as the children go from lower school to middle school. It becomes a much more independent learning process in middle school, which is fostered and helped by a lot of computer-based learning that Oakwood excels in. Then we have a 9th grader who is now in upper school, and we've noticed a further transition in his learning environment in that he is starting to become much more independent and much more challenged, both from national benchmarks as well as Oakwood set benchmarks. He is slowly being shepherded through the college evaluation process as well as college selection process, and they do it in a fairly subtle but progressively more involved way, so that the student is a big part of the college selection process. They don't try to overwhelm the student right at the beginning. They don't want students to burn out in this long and arduous journey towards college. The other thing that we noticed immediately as we visited more of the teachers was that the teachers try to establish a safe zone. A area in eastern North Carolina or in our school where students are not threatened by outside peer pressures, and the educational process is unfettered by fears or peer pressure. In fact, if anything, there's peer support. The students, as they go through the classes at Oakwood and go through different grades, become good friends and sometimes have almost a friend-like or sibling-like relationship with their classmates, as opposed to a competitive peer pressure type of relationship. And that is heavily fostered both in middle school and in the upper schools. The other aspect of their learning is becoming more and more prevalent, and that is their computer-based learning. Oakwood has a very accelerated program involving Apple and is an Apple test site for educational learning using Apple technology, and this has definitely been an asset, and I think that the involvement is going to continue to grow over time. On a more practical note, I'm a physician. I work at the hospital on the medical campus. Geographically, the campus and hospital are very close to the school. So from a practical standpoint, it's very easy to go and see your child performing in the middle of the afternoon. If you can take 10 or 15, 20 minutes off, you can go and watch them do, you know, something at school, or maybe even watch a basketball game. And at the end of the day, it's a very quick trip over here to collect your child and go back home. So from a convenience and practical standpoint, it is a very easy, it makes it much more convenient for hospital employees to be at Oakwood with their children.